Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus. And as usual, with me this evening is my colleague.
Hi, everyone. I'm Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, the other co-creator of Connections 50 Plus, which brings you 5.8G Alive. And as you all can see, we are back. We are back. We have to thank you for allowing us that little break where you enjoyed some repeat shows and so on. And Jennifer, I think it is, we in reset season. I think this is great. It's a wonderful coming back to live because we are coming back, and in many ways, we have all reset ourselves. I have certainly reset myself after one of my adventures. I call it adventures. I don't call it grief or mourning, adventures. And I know you've been doing all kinds of stuff also.
Yeah. And then it's July, and we're talking about reset because we have our reset program coming up on the 21st. Yes. And we thought it would be really nice for this show to chat with persons who have done our primetime reset program. And this was before the pandemic, Can you imagine? So this is about 3 years, just about 3 years plus that they did the reset. And we thought it would be so nice to hear them, let them come here with this evening, on the show and have a panel just chatting about the experience and the takeaway. And, to give you all an idea of what it is like to attend our forums. So sit back, relax, and listen to what the panel has to say.
The Reset Alumni first meeting.
Well, as mentioned, we have this really beautiful panel, and I'm saying beautiful because when you look at our guests out there, everybody, very happy, seem very relaxed. And this is because we have asked these are all persons who attended Connections 5.8G Primetime Reset.
This is program. The alumni. This is the alumni.
As Terry-Ann said, the alumni. And this was a program we did before the pandemic. So I would say maybe it's going in 3 years already. About 3 years.
4 years.
That they all did at that time. It was an individual program that we spoke about, transition. It was a lot about transition coaching, and we did some entrepreneurship. And we felt with our upcoming program, 5.8G Reset, we should just have, a nice conversation and let them share with you, the experiences, the takeaway, and, how they felt from then to now. So I will let each person introduce themselves and just chat, tell us how they feel after about 3 years, having done the program. So anyone can start, just introduce yourself and let's hear what you thought about the program.
All right, Kester, you had started, so go ahead.
Yes.
So we let the gentleman start first.
Good evening,
you started,
everyone. Well, I really started this. It could be, I thought it was like 2 years ago, but it could be 3. And I was as I said earlier, when I saw that video today of the summary or the feedback, I was kind of laughing at myself. I had a good laugh because things I should have said, like it wasn't coming out at the time, but I thought the feedback was great. And to me, the key element, one of the questions that was asked was what keeps people back from opening up like this? And the one word for me was fear. And that's the word I didn't mention, but fear. People have that fear, that innate fear of probably what comes out, the fear what will come out. Not that they fear the person or the panel or whoever it is they're dealing with, but just fear to see, you know, if something will happen or something wouldn't happen or they're wasting their time or something. But
Yes.
I think fear is the key.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for me, over the years, I think I have grown to love Terry-Ann and Jenny more, and the group, as a matter of fact, because we went different places together. I have my own group to some ex-alumni, schoolmates. We still bond a bit, just on a chat group, but we try to make efforts to go different places. So we try to pattern what you all do too. One of the things, the last thing we went to the mermaid pool, but it's so difficult to organize and get people to come out. So as a result of that, I took a back step and give somebody else a chance to organize the next event.
Mm-hmm.
So just as you all do, we plan to have a lot of outdoor events. Look, about 2 Saturdays ago, we went karaoke.
So, Kester, it seems very clear that that social aspect of going through the reset really resonated with you and activated you to be more proactive about building community and becoming socially active, maintaining friendship, which is a very important part of our 5.8G platform.
You are correct.
Definitely.
You are correct. Even when you all went to San Fernando Hill, I know, well, my wife, she came with me, so she was happy to get, and she really enjoyed it. She enjoyed Dr. Rouse, you know, Errol Fabian, the Calypsonian, what's his name?
Abebele.
Yeah. And we had a real good time. So
beautiful.
We're looking forward to more. What I'm trying to do is get more of my people involved too, but I know it's difficult.
In time.
I keep trying,
yeah. So we could move on. Hazel, what has your experience been having done the reset and looking back?
So when I did the first time the program, it was during that time when I was just on the tail end of a research sabbatical. So the idea of you know, reflecting and then being introspective, etc., was what I was doing for nearly a year. So the timing was perfect. The difference was that obviously I was doing my work, you know, my writing, and the whole idea of focusing on finances and, you know, what I was going to do in the next couple of years wasn't something that I thought a lot about it, and I explained to Terry and Jennifer that I was stressed about, am I ready for retirement? What is retirement going to be like? You know, it was stressing me out. And after I went through the program with them, I felt less stress. And so looking at the tape today,
a different year.
Yeah, that's another story. So looking at the tape today, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm still a little stressed, but I am much more confident. And one of the takeaways was the importance of community. I write about community partnerships with schools, etc., but very often in my personal life, when it had to do with finances and planning for the future, I always thought that was my struggle, my headache, right? I didn't know how to embrace other people or to look at the other resources. And so going through this process, that one of the things it taught me was that there are other people who are thinking the same way, and there's power in numbers, there's power in communities. So one of the other things, and I know we'll continue talking, is I felt from then to now that my golden years, to use the word golden years, when you thought about it in the past, it was you get slower, you sit down in a rocking chair, you with grandkids, etc. Well, none of those things apply to me. I am much more active and engaged now than I've ever been. And I have evidence with my best friend Terrian when we do all our travels and all our little stuff together. So I am looking forward to the next how many years? I'm really looking forward to it.
Your third act.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful. Nice. So let's hop to I playing tic-tac-toe on the screen.
Oh, you're playing tic-tac-toe, right? Right. So when I did the program, well, a few years ago, Jennifer, well, I had known Jennifer, you know, and of course I got to know Terry Ann, and they took me through some paces, you know, and well, I was a little surprised myself because I didn't think that I was as stiff. That might have been the wrong word, but that's what I'm going to come up with. And you know, and it would take me to the idea about relaxing and doing some more things that would bring joy. I seem to spend so much time doing things. They seem necessary and all of that, but they were not getting the joy. And certainly at that time, I was working on my dissertation and all of that, and I seem at the time to be losing some interest, maybe the zeal to pursue. And I remember them asking me a question. Well, why are you doing it? And you know, to get me to really articulate why it is I was doing, the importance of it. And because of that, well, right, okay, if I arrive at the importance of it, then I could see how I could go on. And that helped me. I mean, it's what, 3.5 years later, you know, I stayed the course. It wasn't only just staying the course, but I was even more actively involved in getting to the point where I would say on the longest day in the year, June the 21st, I can't forget that, I successfully defended, you know, and certainly, as I said, I was successful. So that was really important for me. I'm making the connection here, not only about the success of that, of course, that's important, but the journey that I took and that I was guided on. And that's where I think it's so important what we had done and what we had exposed ourselves to. I hear about fear, and perhaps I had some because I am not. I mean, I talk to people, I laugh and all of that and everything else, but I'm not normally sit and share with people unless you know they're particularly, you know, you have a handful, you know, that kind of thing. But what they did really was sensitive. It was sensible. It was professional, and I said that at the last time, so I'm restating that. I've had no reason to change that. And there was that thing of care. You know, it wasn't just something that they were doing because this is something that they engaged in. It was about them getting all of us, at this age to understand there is more to life than just going from work to work to work. When you come home, what do? Is it just to work, to work, to work? And I suppose to a large extent that might have been my case. Another thing about what happened there is that I have begun to know the difference between yes and no.
Mhm.
Right. And why I'm saying that, you asked me some, yes, I would do it. And yes, and especially if it's somebody I care about and I think it's necessary, get involved. Probably get tired and all of that, but I would do it. And I no, 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 no. I don't think I can make that. No. Mm-mm. And I have learned, and all of those are really what is happening now with me. I see them as products of your urging, of your tuition, of your guidance, and all of that. So, any program that you have that speaks to that kind of situation where people in a secluded, limited number of spaces would be able to share. There is that confidentiality, which of course is prime. And if people realize that, oh, these are people, these ladies, these young ladies, these young ladies understand what's happening, and they want to bring some more joy in my life and let me enjoy some more years in a healthy, happy way. When people begin to know that and accept you and what you do for that, then certainly you can continue doing it because it has borne fruit, certainly in my life, and I imagine I've heard from the others. So I say thanks for allowing me to share then and for inviting me to share now as well. And you could see that there is some progress that has been made, certainly. So I am thankful for that. Thanks so much, Terry-Ann and Jennifer.
And
Yes.
finally, Pat, before I hand over to Jennifer to get into more of your summary, Pat.
Yes. Well, hello everybody. It's Pat.
Bye.
It's Pat. It's not Patricia. Patricia is that very
Yes. Yeah.
smooth and proper, and so this is Pat. Um, my experience since the last program, and I noticed that I have 2 spectacle changes since the last program. The second set of specs. I like to say spectacular. But seriously, Jennifer and Terry-Ann's program asked us the wonderful word self-introspecting. But I have another verb, adulting. Adulting is when you take hold of your life. Okay? That's what they're asking us to do. To recognize that we have many more productive years ahead, and to prepare ourselves for those years. Not sit back now and in the popular, well, not even now, but previously the popular idea of retirement was the rocking chair and the spectacles and maybe the newspaper or the knitting needles and so on. But there is so much more joy, Lynette, that is awaiting us. I am one of those who've had joy consistently in my life from as long as I can remember, age 6. Being in the theater is one of the things that is the most amazing headspace. I remember Pat Bishop asked me to do something one day. From the time she says, Patty, what is it you want, Pat? Because you know you're a Pat or you're whatever, but you hear the Patty, something that she wants
Yes.
special. I have something for you to do. And it was a little role, not a big role. But you will do it? I said, but of course, Pat, how many 50-year-olds you know gets to be 15 and 16 every day? Okay. So in terms of joy, I have certainly experienced joy. I have pulled back a little from my choir. And I'm recognizing, Lynette, that some of the joy is missing. But to go back to the program itself and the adulting story means that you have to review. You don't just go chugging along in the day, in the night. You just do the same thing every day. You go to the grocery, you come back, you watch TV. Are you making any decisions about what you are doing? And that's what the program did for me. Yeah. I mentioned checking the boxes. Yes, the financial box, the social box, the everyday box, the physical box. And the physical box is one that I haven't really taken hold of. And I do a little exercise, but not enough. And I know. The financial box, you all charged me with certain responsibilities, and I'm reviewing again. One of the things I decided to do was downsize my motor vehicle. Been talking about it. Yeah, time to downsize. In addition to which, to make sure that I have a vehicle for the next how many years. So that's one of the decisions that I've put in place. In terms of my agricultural enterprise, those of you all who may have seen the show, yeah. I started a
Kale farm.
Yeah, actually, yes, right. But I was going to say one in pipes and so on and so forth. I've stopped. Mm-hmm. We must recognize when it is beyond us.
Yeah.
And when to stop.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because the kale farm was fabulous. And when people missed me in the market, oh gosh, but you're not coming back. Yes, I'm coming back. Lala, oh gosh, I not eaten any kale since you stopped. And I've been regaled with all sorts of reasons why I should come back to the kale. But it was too much, I had to admit.
Lovely.
No, I really had to admit that. So that I am still in the workplace. I am a retired full-time worker. Retired. But that's where a lot of my social aspect comes in. I see people every day, we chat. Somebody give me a piece of sabuka today in the office. Woo, woo, woo. If I was sitting at home, I wouldn't get no sabuka. Well, the neighbor. But being presented with a piece of zabuka which you didn't ask for, which you didn't even know was available, is a wonderful thing in terms of your community, somebody doing that for you. So that, yes, I have a feeling that I should come back to this year's program.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get the perspective of others and of, I have a different name for Maureen Bowen, but the wonderful Maureen Bowen would have her own perspective, which I might even call you up in a little while. But yes, adulting, introspection, review, taking charge is what the program assists individuals to do. And Kessa was talking about fear in a situation where other people will hear what you have to say. But it's not the fear of the other people, It's the fear of what you will admit to yourself. is what you're fearing. So don't bother fear. Come and talk to people who are like-minded, who are also going through the introspection with the guidance and counsel of Maureen Bowen, Jennifer, Terry. I think it's a wonderful thing because a review doesn't take place once. Review this year, review this season, okay? Review this kind of time. If you have a carnival band, after the band, you must review. Are you going to start the band again for next year? Are you going to pull back? Are you going to compete with the likes of, well, not Minshall, but big bands, right? Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
you must review all the time. And thank you for the review.
Yeah.
I encourage others, come and look at yourself.
Jennifer, very different perspectives, very different views.
Which is great because in all, you know, at Connections 50 Plus, you know, Terry and I, we always say, this is a journey, right? It's a journey we are on. We talk about life transition journey. And it's nothing that, and you mentioned it, but it's not just today you get up and be happy and that's it. Or you're sitting down in a rocking chair and you're waiting until the Lord calls you, as some people like to say. And yes, what we encouraging persons to do is to step out and remove that fear Kesten's talking about, because the fear comes in so many different ways, right? Some people will tell me, oh, I don't want to talk. You don't want people to know their business. So they're scared to open up. But we make sure we provide that safe space. It's very confidential. And again, we don't have large groups. So outside of the individuals, you know, our forums are small forums. So people will be very comfortable. And in sharing, and thanks again, I mean, each person, as Terry-Ann said, the story is different, but there's one thing running along in that story. And that is to keep going, to be happy, to build community, to reflect, to know that, hey, this is not the end, this is the start. You know, Hazel said it, hey, this is the best time of your life. This is when you have more time to do what you want to do. And you know, listening to Kester is this time, and Kester, you didn't, I mean, we know we didn't share in terms of how you're this big entrepreneur now. But the fact that where you find your happiness, you're finding your happiness with the community, with building that community. And being part of our community, as we say, we 5.8G, which is some people still ask, what is it? And it's the 50 to 80 generation. You have plenty time to enjoy life. And guess I'm glad you shared that, because for us, you know, community building is critical. We have people who, you know, never came out before. And when they do come, they didn't know it would be so nice. And that is because they meet other people and they can, you know, they can chat with. And Lynette, what I like too is that you really took it as a journey. Because in the initial stages when we started, you almost say, well, why am I doing this? As you said, after that reflection, you realize, okay, this is why I am doing it.
Yes.
I am doing it for me, to improve myself. It's not too late. This is for your satisfaction. And you saw yourself really preparing other type of educational products and books, etc. You didn't at any stage give up. You were a little hesitant, yes.
Yeah.
But again, with the coaching, with the chatting, with building that trust. And you said it. That you have to trust before you move on, and you have to feel comfortable about it. And you all have all shown that the journey is a continuous, joyful journey. Yes, Pat, you might lose that bit of joy, but when you do that reflection and ask yourself, why? You know, why am I not as happy? don't I want to go anywhere? Or, you know, when you ask yourself that question and you get the answer, you say, but what is this? I not old. I am still active. I can do so much. And if you see yourself as old, and that is we really, all of us have to be careful how we are influenced by the tradition. The era before us, that tradition was when you reach this age, when you by the time you hit 60, that's where you're going. You know what you want to do again. You did it all. Why you dress up so? Why all the negatives? And we have to be careful that, hey, that's not us. And we keep saying it, Terry Ann on Connection, that this is a new stage. This is an active stage. This is a happy stage. This is a productive stage. We building that tribe. We continuing. And when we have more people coming on board, understanding that this life at this stage is a really happy one. It's ongoing. It ain't stopping nowhere. Why do you want to stop? Whatever you want to do, you know? Like at this stage, yes, you want to do your PhD. Yeah, why not? Look how much you can do with it. And it's a great example for others.
Yeah. And Jennifer, if I may interject here,
Sure, go right ahead. Yeah.
you know, Pat mentioned some words. One of them is adulting.
Adulting.
And of course, introspection and review. I want to add another word to that list: purposeful.
Yep.
Intentional, right? Because to achieve all of that we have said here and all that you're encouraging us to do, you are purposeful about it, but we also have to be purposeful about internalizing, you know, the ideas that are shared and putting them into practice and maintaining that consistency to do so, being purposeful. Well, yeah, the vocabulary, the list is adding. Yeah, so we probably have some new words for the 5.8 reset and so on. Words to think about, certainly, yes.
There is one thing that stood out to me as I listened to all of you make your summaries of the time, and Pat, you brought it out especially, is that no change is so easy for you. And Pat, that decision, I'm stopping. No, this is not for me. I'm stopping. Could you, many people looking at this stage think that I have to do whatever I decided to do at 60, or what, as Jennifer said, people expect of me at 60, and not realizing that you can change. As you review, you can change. Can you all give us some examples of how the awareness of self that you got with the reset helped you to make changes or stop or change direction?
Right. I probably jump in. Is it
no
all
problem.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So I would normally plan things, you know, I'm planning and other people and everything else. And so no problem. Celebrate everybody. Don't take too much time to celebrate me. I spend a lot of time with something. In November, my family and some close friends, they took the time to celebrate me. It was an important milestone in my life as well. And what was amazing about that, I knew about the date. I knew it was Tobago. I knew about the place. I didn't know exactly where. And when I asked about it, why you want to know about that? And so listen, I just surrendered to that. And that is a big change to me. I surrendered to that. And I had a whale of a time, maybe a few elephants added in too. You know, yes. really enjoyable, really enjoyable. And there was a whole week of that and everything else. And last month, it happened again. All I knew, I was going to Barbados. I was going to Barbados. I didn't know where I was staying either or anything like that. I knew my son was going with me and another friend, a close friend. Oh, I had the whole animal farm. I had a whale, the whale, the elephant, everything. It was a joy. So I'm talking about the idea of change that you mentioned. So I am no longer so stuck on all right, I would say about I'm planning it and I allow people to do some things for me.
Mhm.
To celebrate
And
you.
I say thank you. I'm always thankful, but I don't always allow people to do things for me.
Yes.
I will always find time to do things.
So one of the things that, when I started talking to Terry and Jennifer, it was, I mentioned it was around the time I was just finishing up my sabbatical. So, at that time you're thinking of, you're creative, right? You're extremely creative. And I'm a tenured faculty member. I've been tenured for a long time. And that's nice because I have a job until they take me out in a box. But what it does, the downside of it is that it may allow someone to be less creative. You kind of do the same thing all the time. And I made that decision. It was coming out of the discussion with Terry and Jennifer to spend that time, the next couple of years or however long I decide to be faculty, to define how I want to spend that time. And I think when you put that out, things come, right? Things come to you. So during the last 2 years, it has been the most productive time of my professional life. And I choose which projects I want to be involved in. So there were a lot of projects I wanted to do I couldn't do because I was department chair. So now I'm kind of free to do my own thing in many ways. And I was tapped to head certain projects by the president. There were certain things that I know I wanted to develop, to build on what I've done years ago, and now I'm doing it. So and it feels very rewarding, and it's not a heavy task because it's stuff that I've done before, and I do it with much more confidence. And I think for me, from being the person who will say yes to everything, I get to choose how I spend my time at work, which allows me to really have more time in my personal life, right? So I make choices there also. So it allows me to have this balance between work and life. And I think one of the things we talked about was creating balance. So again, I want to thank you both for allowing me to do that. I think it was always there, but sometimes you need people to kind of pull it out and to frame it. And this forum provides that opportunity. I don't get to all the meetings on a Wednesday because sometimes I teach on that day, but I check in. I check in with what y'all are doing, and it's so if I want to add one word, I think Lynette, you had added a word. It's selective. Being selective, and being selective in a good way, in a way that benefits the individual.
Excellent. Great. So we go to Kester now. Kester, how has change been for you through this process?
Yes, so I think the word she used was surrender.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, for this last week, I found myself having to surrender in a sense. I had some situations. One, my car got in an accident. My daughter, she was in a roundabout and a guy running to her. And there was the question of this claim settlement, and it was taking a long time. So I just say, let it be. Not that I gave up or anything. I just know the outcome it will work out. But in the past now, I would find myself stressing over it and worried and, you know, very agitated and angry. And for some reason, I was not. I was totally in control. And then today, out of the blue, they called me and said, hey, you know, your check ready. So everything worked out so fine. But normally now, you know, you tend to give out this negative, hey, these people take it so long and you know, you're stressing out yourself. No, I thought with that, I found myself more in balance and more in control of the situation, and the outcome worked out perfect. Right? In respect to what happened, from another perspective, I started doing things, well, during and after COVID, and at the time we did the reset program. I found myself playing music now, my violin.
It's me, wow, that is great.
Yes, you started.
Right?
Yeah.
Usually when I go to a party, I used to hate going parties, right? Because I am not a natural dancer. My wife is a natural dancer and many people around me, and I used to just have to sit down and take them in. But you know what happened, Terry, and you know Glenroy, right? He was asking me all the time, Kester, come along, come along.
Yes,
and I made the decision earlier this year to go. And I haven't regretted it since.
Oh,
wow.
I was there after yesterday, and I encouraged my wife to come along too. She started about a month ago, and she's now getting into the steps. So, you know, a lot of things
I think I have to join you on.
a lot of things I start doing now that I wouldn't dare do in my past. I found myself finding more varied interests and so on. Since that reset program, that there's life beyond retirement, I started doing a lot of things. Fishing is another thing. When I was in Canada last year, imagine I called Terry Ann from Canada thinking she was here. Next thing, Terry Ann was somewhere in Mississauga, somewhere there you were. But at the same time, I brought back my fishing pole and everything. So at least once a week, me and two other guys from my other group, my school group, we go fishing. So, you know, a lot of varied interests taking place.
That sounds great.
Life is not the rocking chair. There's so much more to do if we allow ourselves.
So true. So true.
Kester, I would like to know about the dance classes.
Okay, I could supply the information.
Great.
We can bring the dance instructor on the show, don't worry.
Okay, all right.
I'm excited to start. I keep putting it off. So if Kester could start, I could start too.
Yes.
Anybody else has their change story and their dynamism story? Pat, I don't know if we got Pat's in her entirety. You brought up the issue of saying no and saying yes. The power of that.
And knowing when to stop and that sort of thing.
Yes, yeah.
But you know, I am a little jealous of Kester now because many years ago I said when I turned 60, I should be sitting down with my big dress and my harp, learning to play a harp. And I've never made a move towards that. Kester, you're swizzling me, man. Okay. You could see me with a big dress, right?
Big in the back and the harp in the front.
Kester, you're influencing me. One of the things I always wanted to do was go and take a photography course. I love to take out pictures. I have this fantastic camera that most of the time I don't know how to use, but I do enjoy, you know, taking out a picture and seeing it, seeing some object brought to life. And if you could play the violin and if you could go and learn to dance, I would definitely go and do a photography course. So check me back if we're going to have an alum part 2 or 3 or whatever in a year's time. What I'm saying is that sometimes you have to think in terms of, I say that I'm a tenured faculty, but I really hope that I don't see myself working all the time. And I often think about doing photography as a next, like a side job or I shouldn't say a side job, something that I could do later on. So I think about it and I haven't acted on it. All I've done is for the camera, and Terry know I'm always taking out pictures. So I'm gonna, that's gonna be my next focus, definitely. So you have your violin story, your dance story, I'll have my camera.
Dance,
If I may
violin,
say-
harp, photography.
If I might say,
Lynette has
Hazel,
surrendered.
Yes,
Hazel,
yes.
just take that first step. Don't worry about the rest of steps. Just take that first initial
That
step.
first step.
The other
Yeah.
steps
No,
will
no
follow.
pun intended.
Right. Okay.
And interestingly enough, just to interject here again, I was in church, yesterday, and they were talking about people who want to learn to play a musical instrument and fill out the form. You have forms there. Oh, I took a form. I said, yeah. I said, but I think we have a guitar home somewhere. I must learn to play it. So
See?
so that's surrender
Exactly.
like big time. Yes.
Well, you see
Yes.
what being in a small group has done?
Yes.
Just the
Yes.
discussion, the interaction
Mhm.
has heightened everybody now say, okay, I can do it. Just having one person
Yes.
share that they took that
Yeah.
step, and that's it. You
Yes.
know, so
Right. But one of the things that clearly this gathering brings out is that, and the thing about the reset, and I think it's so clear now, you have it in you already. It's not that we
Yeah.
put some different thing in you, but
Yeah.
we don't give ourselves time to introspect and reflect. And so important, Pat, give ourselves permission to change or to admit this part is
Yeah.
not where I should be, or to discover I can learn a new skill. And I think that's one of the things that really makes many of our 5.8G cohort not happy and want to cling to the world of the second act, what you were
Yes.
before, where you were secure, and you know that. So if you were the this of this, and with Hazel, you are tenured, Pat, you were the finance person that you were doing whatever. And Kester, you left the world, you went into entrepreneurship, now you're doing different things. And we are all so afraid of learning, or is it that we believe we can't learn? But one thing the reset exercise does, I think, it removes some of that old cobweb that has us trapped like a fly in a cobweb, a spider's web, and tells us that we are the people who created this world. I am sorry, we are the people who create, and I mean, and the chippiness are going on in the world, we did that too. But all of the great new ideas, it is our generation that did it. And we can do so much more for ourselves moving forward. And the reset program is targeted to do just that. And I'm listening to you all and feeling rather proud of ourselves, Jennifer.
Yes,
No graduates.
I'm just looking at the areas that we're going to be discussing, the topics that we have listed for this reset program. All the aspects, all these topics have been touched on in terms of the takeaway from everybody here, because we are talking about a change in mindset, and that has been covered clearly, very clearly, that how you're thinking before, things that you wouldn't do, and we're hearing that, learning to say no, getting out there and doing the things.
Yes.
So that change in mindset. We're going to be chatting about getting rid of gremlins, and we spoke about that. So you spoke about prayer. Gremlin is really that little, little messages we get in saying we can't do this and we can't do that. You can't go back and play the violin, or you can't go back dancing, or you can't do that. So we have
Where you're
ways
going,
that you
Barbados, and
shared
you
with
don't know
us.
where you're going.
Yeah.
Enjoying
Enjoying life, surrendering, and that's what happens when, Lynette mentioned it. We said it, being able to surrender. We have this other topic, rekindling your passion, which is what we just spoke about. And all of us going to do it now. He can guess us example. All right. He's going to do photography. Pat going to do the harp. Which one is that?
The
dancing
first and the half. Dancing.
I'm going to join
Dancing.
Kester in her it's dancing.
Dance.
Lynette picking up her guitar. I mean, listen to me. We're rekindling our passion. Then we're going to be speaking about your financial future. And Hazel mentioned it there. About before, she was very concerned about her finances, her financial situation. And having done the program, she has much more confidence is where she's at right now. We're going to be talking about living your best life, which is what we are doing right now.
Yes.
So, I mean, these are the topics we're going to be covering and having with us, Maureen Bowen, who is a psychologist, to just help to with the mind, that change in mindset. And for those, I mean, we are fortunate, every one of us here on this panel, we out there, we doing something. Some may be still in the workplace, but have that flexibility, giving yourself that permission to do things. But there are those who may be at home who watching on and say they could say anything, But I am stuck home. And what we are saying to you, you're not stuck home. You have a choice. Yes, Pat, go right ahead.
When are we going on a cruise?
Very soon. Well, and I must mention that community, building that community. Since after the pandemic and we decided to do socials, we have a long list of main people have been asking, when you're doing this, but we're definitely going to be doing the cruise. We're definitely going to be doing Tobago. Yeah. So the cruise may be next year because we're giving you time to save, but we're going to be giving you enough notice. And that.
Yes,
so
time and
and
notice.
this is
Yes,
what our reset, you see the
Pat,
excitement, and
I
this
see you
is what
getting
the
in
program
gear.
is supposed to be. We will be excited to do different things, to bring more joy into our lives.
Yes.
And that's about it, Tarian. It's reset.
Yep. So definitely
we're encouraging everyone to come on board, register.
Yes. Izzy, you wanted to say something?
No, I just
you went on the cruise.
all I'm thinking about. I'm in New York and everybody else is in Trinidad. So just, the cruise is a nice opportunity for me to connect with what y'all are doing. Because I obviously don't get a chance to meet you.
Absolutely.
Yes. So once you say travel, cruise, airplane,
you're on board.
And my camera, I'll be there.
Yes. I was wondering one thing. Hazel, are you 50 as yet?
We're past that, boy.
Seriously? Wow.
Well done, Kester. Well done.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yes.
Life. Once you live life in a certain way, with a certain appreciation of life, I think just the word life. If you give life to your life, you will be happy. You will flourish. And once you remove the fear of the unknown, I mean, you're not jumping over a cliff and you're not jumping into an abyss. You're taking a step in a direction, and it's okay to step back and change direction if you don't like where you're going. We are entitled to that. And that essentially is what the reset is about. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer and I really want to thank you all for bringing to life what we truly and very, very passionately believe the 5.8G movement is about. Really taking back that power. I am Beyonce and Blue. I'm going to be ridiculous. Taking my power, my power. So if I'm kind of ridiculous,
but you don't hurt yourself now.
No, I'm doing it second that. But that is what it's about.
If I may, growing up, I always thought I would have been an author, trying to write a book. I never got off the ground.
Well, now
But-
it's a good time.
No, I'm still not. I have to learn to say no to as well, right?
All right.
Uh,
Okay.
But listening to Jen and her summary a while ago, I thought she captured everything that we discussed here today, very concise and very clear. I mean, I look at us, 6 of us sitting here together, and of course I didn't write a book, but I think we have all the contents of that book. We just watching us here, we are a book, you know what I mean? So I think maybe one of you could try it.
Actually, you know, we have 2 authors among us. So we have Bernard and Hazel, who have the experience
Yes.
writing
Well,
books.
look at
And excuse me, the book exists. It's a digital book, and you just go onto our YouTube channel, and there are chapters written every Wednesday. So
Yeah,
it is
you
a
tweak
digital
here, you
book.
tweak there, and you'll
Yeah.
have something perfect.
That's
Put in some
that's a good thing
worksheets.
there.
Yes.
So
That's
thank you,
very, very
Kirsten. Thank you for that feedback. Yeah.
Definitely. So thank you all very, very much. This really has been wonderful.
And a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you all.
Carrie Ann, I don't have anything else to add. It has been said by everyone how important it is to get together. But you know what? I just want to recap something quickly that I picked up. You know, I picked up. I wrote when Maureen Bowen, when
Our
Maureen was
facilitator.
speaking. And it was about how important it is for small group interaction. I just want to highlight that. And
Yes.
it was said by the panel, you know, when we got together and started to chat, you realize it is important, you know, for us to talk out and really express ourselves. She spoke about, you know, again, being in a safe environment, a safe and confidential environment where you can really talk openly and don't feel like what what you're saying or what you share would be in any way you would feel like you're being put down or criticized or
No
judged.
judgment.
There has been no judgment, you know? And just one more about the importance of, you know, exploring. And we said it was said in our by our panelists, you know, a little while ago about, you know, dreaming, reflecting, you know, going through that introspection. They talk about being purposeful and intentional. Those are what I want to point out because, Terry Ann, it is so important for us on this journey,
Yeah.
you know, and for it to be a happy journey. So yes, that I want to leave those, you know, just those tips with you all.
Great.
Yeah.
So as we leave, just take in this little beautiful reel that speaks to what our forum is all about.
Yeah.
Give us a call and let's register. Let's get all reset and ready. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Great. Nice.
Plus Tribe and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.